Well, hello, everybody. This is Susan Miller, and I am calling out to you guys from Boston, Massachusetts. I know we have people from all over the country, and also I think possibly from Canada as well, and maybe even from Australia on board. So welcome. And, this Zoom tonight, we had requested for people to invite some few guests so that we can share with you what's taking place with the financial opportunity right now with a company called Isagenix International. And if you don't mind, I'd like to give you, take a few moments to share my own story. Because I really find that when people, the whole point of tonight was to share with you through our own experience what this is, what Isagenix is all about, as opposed to just throwing out facts at you, trying to give you a better picture about how we've experienced it and why we are so excited about it, who we are and why we're so excited about this financial opportunity. So if I take a moment, let me go back and say that this opportunity, this story actually is 30 years in the making. I was first introduced, my husband and I were first introduced to this industry actually when I was literally, let me think, I was 27 years old. Okay, so what's happening now is that I'm 57, so 30 years later, here I am back in an industry that I fell in love with when I was in my 20s. But literally walked away from it for 15 years. So if you could just indulge me for a minute, let me share with you a little bit of that background. So my husband and I started off owning our own businesses in our life. I actually started off as a hairdresser, exchanging time for money. And I understood that that probably wasn't going to serve me my whole life, being a very physical and demanding career. I loved being a hairdresser, but it definitely was demanding physically. And so I ended up owning a cosmetic company around the age of 25, and around the age of 27, I was introduced to this industry. My husband owned a property and casualty business, so we were both used to being entrepreneurs at the time. And to be very honest with you, we were really curious why somebody would ask us why we would be interested in a financial opportunity when we owned our own business. And for me specifically, I was curious why somebody would want me to sell somebody else's product. And so I actually went and listened to two men that were speaking in a hotel room in Boca Raton, Florida. And there was like 300 people in the room. And the curious thing for me was half of them were men, and it was skincare. And I'm saying to myself, like, what are they doing here? Like, in my mind, all I could perceive of is that people wanted me to drive a pink Cadillac and do home party plans. And to be very honest with you, my ego was tied into it. I was in very high-end salons. I was very successful at what I did, and I just didn't want to do that. And I don't want to knock that, because I know that that was a very viable opportunity for a lot of people at a time that they needed it. It just wasn't a good fit for me. So I was really curious when I saw all these men in the room. And the thing I found out about with these men is that they were looking at a financial opportunity. They weren't just looking at selling a product. And so when these guys started talking, the minute they opened their mouths, I knew they were from Boston. And being from Boston myself, I had a little camaraderie going on there. I'm going, okay, let me really hear these guys out. And what I realized is that they actually weren't talking about a product. They were talking about trends. They were talking about timing. They were talking about getting in front of an opportunity before the whole world knew about it. And yes, the product mattered, but what they did was they endorsed the product. They didn't actually try to represent it as if they were the experts in skincare. They simply said, I use this and like it. I use that and like it. And I kind of thought that was interesting, somebody coming from the product industry. The other thing that they talked about was something like word of mouth marketing. And to be honest with you, I understood what that meant, because word of mouth marketing is what every small based business uses to build their network. I mean, as a hairdresser, that's how I built my clientele. There isn't a small-based business out there in the world that spent a fortune advertising. We couldn't afford it. We built it through our quality of our service or product, and we allowed that to network, right? So that was easy for me to understand. And then they talked about the linear income, exchanging time for money. And I understood that as a hairdresser. And then they talked about leverage, that if you owned your own company, or if you had a lot of money, you could actually leverage yourself and either let your money make money or have a bigger company where people help leverage your everyday activity to make money. So I understood that too by being a business owner. I understood also that I was very tied to that business financially. Then they mentioned something they called residual income. And to be honest with you, I'd never heard that before. I had heard of royalties, but I thought that you had to be somebody who was really very good at what you did. that you had a special talent, that you could legitimately like write a music or a book or something and you get royalties over and over again. But when they said that an everyday person could build a network of consumers who had a vested interest in continually using that product for life, why? Because they get paid to do so, because they were the business builder in the consumer, one and the same. I gotta be honest with you, I was curious. So much so that when he mentioned the kind of money he was making, I was kind of blown away because he mentioned a really big number. He actually said he was making $50,000 a month. And I had brought my husband along with me as an excuse to exit, just in case I didn't want to be there, just in case it was the wrong thing for me. And I said to him, did he say a month? Because I thought maybe he meant a year, right? I mean, this is my industry, and I'm not making that kind of money. I was doing really well, guys, but I wasn't making that kind of money. And so I waited to the end of the meeting because I don't think I heard anything after what he said at the end. And I went up to him afterwards and I said, did you mean to say a month? And he said, yes. And I said, can you prove that? And he said, yes. And he did. And I said, okay, then you have to tell me exactly how you did it, because there is no way you did that selling hand cream. Because this was a skincare company. And he goes, no, I didn't. He goes, and I can show you exactly how to do this. He goes, but you have to be a good student. I said, I am a great student. And so you know what, guys? I did exactly what he told me to do. And 8 months later, doing it part-time in the pockets of my life, I was able to replace my full-time income. And 3 months later, I was able to replace my husband's full-time income, which was over 6 figures himself. Now that's in 1 year, 2 people that own their own businesses independently. I was able to build something alongside what I currently did in order to replace my own income. I looked at my husband, I said, can you imagine what we could do if we did this full time? And so I sold my business. And then my husband sold his business. And our family back in Boston said, oh my God, they're involved in a cult. And we laughed and I'm like, no, it's a culture. And the thing is that you can understand why people don't get it, because it was so early in the evolution of this industry and it had a lot of flaws to it at that time. And so the truth is that we ended up going off and creating a huge business. We became millionaires in that company. My husband traveled throughout Asia. I traveled throughout the European market. We got together. We had the best time of our lives. The people that came into this industry were entrepreneurs. These are people that saw the cup half full instead of half empty. These are people that were willing to show up in their own lives. And so they were fun to hang out with, right? These weren't people we were dragging across the line. These were people that wanted to be in. They opted in for the financial opportunity, not to become skincare salespeople. They started to understand the financial model, that if we shared it with a few people, who shared it with a few people, who shared it with a few people, you could have a massive amount of people. And if you had a company had the ability to track that growth all the way through and pay you a small piece on that whole volume, all of a sudden, it was massive. These small businesses that we each individually own, locked arms, created this big business. And enter in our daughter, Chelsea. We get pregnant around 32. We start to slow down and enjoy the process, right? The nesting of having a baby. And all of a sudden we realized that our team wasn't doing as good as we thought. And we were so shocked by this because we were having great success. And during vertical growth, it's kind of hard to hide if anyone's struggling because everyone's doing well. But the challenge was, it wasn't in the product. It wasn't in the word of mouth marketing model. The problem was in the compensation structure of multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing in itself pays you on levels. And where is the largest levels? Where is the biggest volume of people? If you exponentially grow it, it's going to be on the lower levels. And if you take a penny and you double it every single day for 30 days, how does that grow? The first 10 days of the month, it goes from 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, and the 10th day of the month is $10. But by the 20th day of the month, it's 10,000. But by the 30th day of the month, it's 10 million. And these companies weren't even paying you on the 10th day of the month. Who got to keep that money? The company. They had very difficult compensation plans that would flush the volumes at the end of the month, and you'd have to start over again every month, like a traditional business. But that's not what this was supposed to be. They were supposed to say, go out and build our network, help us bring these products in this company to a household name, and you get to participate in our growth. But wait, you have to be a super salesperson or have gotten in really early to benefit from that. And guys, that just wasn't what it was supposed to be. And so when you stop believing in something, when you realize that it really wasn't what we thought it was, you can no longer stand by it. And so what we did was we walked away from this industry. We quietly retired from it for 15 years. And during that time, our income continued to come in month after month after month. Why? Because we had built it. We were the ones that got in early, and we were the superstars because we were already entrepreneurs. We knew what it meant to show up in your own life. We understood the model and we built it. What we didn't understand is that it wasn't simple enough for everyday people to build it. And if it's not simple enough for everyday people to build it, then it's not going to work long term. And so when people called us, we said no to everybody. Because once you've had success in this industry, people call you. And they called us every single time. Every time they started a new company, we said no, including to the owners of Isagenix when they called us in 2002. And 6 years later, when our friends called us and said they were going to start it from our original company, we said no to them too. And then in 2012, Kathy and Jim Hoover called my husband and I again. And I said, it must have been a good day. Because before I wasn't open. I had a misperception that it was still what it was. And I say that to you so you understand that I understand if people think it's one of those things. I get it. I'm here to tell you that one of those things has grown up. And there's heroes of this industry, and their name are Jim and Kathy Hoover. And they own Isagenix. And they are the ones that got it right. And because I wasn't open, and the second time it wasn't even the right time in my life, I didn't participate. And so I missed the first 10 years of this company's growth. But I'm here now. And I'm here for one reason and one reason only. It's because they got it right. And the part that they got right, most of the time, people will get a quality product. There are a lot of great products out there, people. Make no mistake about it. We have a phenomenal product. Put it in your body. You don't have to worry about it anymore because we have $6 billion in sales and we have hundreds of thousands of people have had amazing results with it. 100% money back guarantee. Put them in your body. They're amazing. But the reason why we are so successful today and the reason why there is such an amazing financial opportunity today is not just because we have great products. That is one of the 5 things that you have to be a successful company in this industry. One is being the company itself. They have to be solid. You have to know that they're going to be here in 30 and 40 and 50 years. Not a company that's just selling a product, a company that actually wants to be a company and will be here to pay us out to generations, right? Then you have to make sure you have a quality product that's emotional and consumable, which is key, and have a result attached to it. If you want to have long-term results, people using your product over and over again, it better have those 3 factors to it. Emotional, consumable, and with a result attached to it. Then you have to be in an industry that is in vertical growth, that is always going forward. Timing, your company has to be at the right time in the company to participate. If you're too early, you're simply that, too early. You don't know if the company's going to be there in the end. If you're too late, you're simply that, you're too late. It's already been built. There is a sweet spot in a company, and it's around a time where there's enough people that have heard about it that you get to participate in that opportunity. And that is exactly where we are right now with Isagenix. Guys, I'm bringing you right here to this precipice because I want to bring some people on to validate what I'm talking about. There are converging trends right now that are taking place independent of Isagenix that are dramatically impacting our company's financial opportunity. And because of who we are as this company, that we are the it company right now. Why? Because we have proven ourselves. We just went through this massive vertical growth from 2012 to 2016. We went from 334 million to 924 million. I'm talking vertical growth, people. 60+% year in and year out in vertical growth. Companies would die for 5%. Our company did that. That was our product wave. We were proven these products work. Put them in your body. They work. We have 500,000 plus active consumers. That means people that are consuming minimum $100 worth of products a month in their families, right? We created just shy of 300 millionaires. That means people have earned $1 million in income. Our product model works, but our financial model works as well. So now what we are entering into is that tipping point where we have earned the right to be a financial opportunity, and the men are coming, people, and they're coming for specific reasons. It's not just because Isagenix is the it company, but if you step back and you look at what's happening, you have right now, you have the U economy. Take a look around, guys. You see Uber, Airbnb, eBay, all of these companies. This is like the entrepreneur's dream, right? Where you can't have this new U economy that's going through this massive growth. But who is fueling it? Two different markets. Your millennials, who by 2025 are going to represent 75% of our market. And 66% of them do not want to go into the traditional workforce. The Bentley study, a recent study from Bentley University, has it 66% of them want to own their own business. What better way to do it than being entrepreneurial, right? But so many of those offer are still linear income, where you have to either earn investments, where you have to come up with a large amount of money with an Airbnb, or you have to exchange time for money with Uber, right? A lot of these industries are still linear for entrepreneurial. You also have the retirement, the baby boomers, right? And 1 of 3 baby boomers have 0 retirement. And of that, 50% of those have less than $10,000 in retirement money. And guys, at this point, I want to ask my husband to speak for a second, because this is what he did for a living. He helped people figure out how to pay for college and how to retire, and the college was killing it. And if you don't mind sharing for a minute, Murray, I'm going to unmute you there. My husband has just recently sold all of his businesses, sold his buildings, and made a decision to join me at this very moment to take us through this next wave for a reason. And I'd love to give you that opportunity to share that with us, Murray.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Sue?
I can.
Okay, it's interesting. You know, I'm just, you guys that are listening for the first time, if this is not yet gelling for you, this is a beautiful, beautiful story that Susan is telling, how an industry has come of age, how people are changing the way that they think about work, how they earn a living, how they want to make money into the future, and how they want to retire. It's true, we do have a retirement crisis in this country. There is no doubt about it. You know, as Susan mentioned, I did college funding. I had a large firm that was nationwide. I trained over 100 people on how to do college funding, and I showed them how to deal with their baby boomer clients that were putting their kids through college. And what we found was, on a national scale, most people didn't have enough money saved to put their kids into college. As a matter of fact, they had enough saved to put one student through one semester. That's not a lot saved. So what do they have to do for the rest? They have to borrow, either borrow from their retirement accounts or borrow from their homes. Either way, they're borrowing from their future. They're mortgaging their future retirement in order to pay for college, or pay for weddings, or pay for these big expenses that people have in life, because we simply haven't saved enough as a nation. So one of the things that we just recently introduced to our entire team on our Super Saturday training up here in the Boston area was how much it would take to have a residual income, to have something coming in that is really worthy of your time, that can take you into retirement. And by the way, when most people retire, they spend more time doing the things that they like than they did while they were working, with less than half the money that they had while they were working. That equation adds up to people going back to work after retirement, starting a new career. So for most people, there's not enough saved. They have to do something else in order to get to that level that they feel comfortable that they can retire and still have money to enjoy their lives. And all of a sudden, network marketing and Isagenix in particular becomes something of very, very strong interest. And as Susan started to unfold the story, one of the things that she's about to talk about, because I don't think she's mentioned it yet, is the fact that we're going from $1 billion in sales after 16 years in business to $2 billion in sales over the next 3 to 4 years. Our infrastructure is in place. So for those of you that are listening to this for the very first time right now, and you're thinking, well, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how it works. Fall in love with the products. The products will change your life as far as physically. And we have, as Susan mentioned, just literally tens of thousands of physical transformations to prove this product works. We're not on trial anymore. Once you understand that, it's just a matter of letting other people know that you may have that side gig, that side hustle, whatever it is that they're looking for to set up themselves for a more robust retirement, or just maybe an exit plan from a business or an employer, maybe a plan B if they're worried about their position in the future. Whatever the case may be, there's something there that we have from a financial standpoint that Isagenix offers with their amazing compensation plan and team building units that is absolutely outstanding. So with that, I don't want to take too much time, Susan, but I'm just absolutely thrilled to be part of this and be able to bring in people that we love and people that we're just meeting and new friends and things that I can't even begin to tell you what's on our plate for the next 1.5 to 2 years. It's just amazing.
Actually, it's probably more like 3 to 4 years because we're ramping up right now for the first year. But I got to be honest with you, Mari, I'm thrilled that you are working with us now, that I have you full time. And with that, I get to bring on, remember that baby I was talking about that disrupted us back then in that first company? Well, that child is right here with us at 25 years old, and she is currently our number 2 income earner in our company under the age of 25, and she is also our START ambassador. We have this group of 18 to 35, and a START ambassador is somebody the company identifies as somebody who represents who we are as a company. And I wanted to bring you in, Chelsea, because I'm going to talk about the technology revolution, which really is self-explanatory. I mean, but the realize is that I'm letting you speak into the millennials right now, and also the money. I mean, you really do a beautiful job explaining. She graduated at the top of her class here at Babson College here in Boston. I'll let you tell your own story there, but why she could identify why this is such a phenomenal opportunity for the young millennials. Let me unmute you. Sorry, hon. There you go.
I am just so fired up by this call. And if you guys can't feel momentum starting to kick in, I can tell you that my phone has been blowing up with people asking for the recording already to this call because they weren't able to jump on. It is exciting time in this business. But yeah, I mean, I got started in this company when I was 22 years old. And I say it all the time. And it's probably my favorite thing to say about this industry is that you don't have to be in a bad place to understand that this is a really good idea. And the reason why that I tell people that is because we're used to this industry being that thing that people did, if they need to make some side money or, if, the mommy thing that people were doing. And it got kind of this rep for being this small business. And it got a rep for a lot of people for being something that people in bad situations had to use. And it is incredible because I love this industry because it is the greatest equalizer. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your ethnicity, doesn't matter your experience. If you're willing to come in and do the work and build a network, then you're going to have success. And I love that about this industry. And that allows for people who would have never really had the opportunity to have massive wealth in their life, that capability. But what a lot of us sit with our egos saying, well, I'm better than this. And I'm just going to be quite honest. Like, I remember that feeling of when I was graduating from the top school in the world for entrepreneurship and one of the top business schools in the entire country at the top 10% of my class. And people were looking at me like, why would you go do this? You have such an incredible degree. Why wouldn't you just go get a really high paying job? And what I love to teach people is that there's a very big difference between financial success and financial freedom. And so financial success, you can, it is completely feasible for you to go out there, to get a good education, to get a great internship, to get a great starter salary, to work your way up the ladder. Maybe you go back to school and get your master's, and then you go get a higher paying income. Maybe you pick up a side job. Maybe you're hustling with Uber, or you're renting out Airbnbs. Whatever you're doing, you are hustling because you're a hustler who wants to get a high income. And we're taught how to do that. And financial success is amazing. It pays for the cars and the houses and the vacations, but it's also a financial cage, because at the end of the day, if you stop working, so does your income stop coming in. And all of a sudden, we're really trading our time with our kids, the time that we would want to travel. I mean, just speaking to the millennials, I wanted to travel the world, not in my 60s. I didn't want to be partying on a yacht in my 60s. I wanted to do it at 24, which I did. I mean, 60, I'll do it in my 60s too, because I'm going to look great because I'm on Isagenix. But I wanted to enjoy my youth and be able to also have a career. And we're taught so often as millennials, you know, are you going to go the career path or the life path? Are you going to go travel the world, backpacking, see things? You're going to be a struggling artist. You're going to be, you know, a struggling 20-something, figure out the career later on. Or are you going to go the career route, get in early, and then by your 30s be set for life, which is a false reality. And no one talks about the student loans and the crushing debt that we have, and the keeping up with the Joneses, and the amount of time that we're missing out with our families and our loved ones, and all the experiences we're missing. So all of this that we're talking about, guys, tonight, I need you guys to ask yourself, not just, you know, is this a great financial opportunity? Because the answer is yes. But what could this great financial opportunity do for you? Because what it did for me, I'm just turned 25 this past summer, is it gave me the opportunity to every single day create a life of my dreams, where I wake up every morning being able to create a day completely designed by myself, where I get to live wherever I want to live. I can travel wherever I want to travel. I can go to the gym, spend my time with whoever I want to. And I'm 25, guys. If I can do it, you guys can do it for sure. I don't even have that big of a network. I'm not old enough. So, you know, it's just, it excites me what's possible for the millennial generation. It excites me what's possible for the professionals of this world when they can get out of their own way and understand that you don't have to be in a bad position to understand that this is an incredible idea. Creating massive wealth for yourself that's unattached from your time, whether it's just on the side so that you have a plan B or a retirement plan, or I want to travel to Bali for 4 months plan, which is what I did. That's incredible. Or if you want to replace your full-time income because your job is sucking the life out of you and taking away from all of your time with the people you want to be with and doing the things you want to do, and you're not having any passion or fulfillment in life, and you're waking up every single day saying there must have been more to life than this, whatever that is for you, financial freedom is being so unimportant to your income that it comes in with or without you. And we're taught over and over and over again that we need to become the most valuable part of our job. We need to go to work to become so valuable that we'll have job security for life. And what I say is, to hell with that. I don't want job security. Why would I want job security for life? I don't want a job for life. I want to enjoy my life. I want to live my life, and I want to create massive wealth. And wealth is different than salary. Wealth is different than a high income, and wealth is different than financial success. You can be financially successful without having any true wealth. And so to get financially educated, because we're not taught how to become financially educated for ourselves, to think about what that could do for you and your families or your future families and your lifestyles that you could be living. Because guys, if a 25-year-old can be doing this, you guys sure can. So that's all I'm going to share tonight.
So I'm looking at my husband and I, we're just smiling away because it's just pretty awesome to see our daughter. You know, we're both entrepreneurs, my husband and I, in traditional and in non-traditional, in network marketing. So we can tell you firsthand that network marketing is by far the best way to make money. Residual income trumps all other kinds of income. And I can say that to you from somebody who built something, my husband and I built something from 27 to 34, that we continue to get paid today. Enough so that it paid for my daughter to go to a top school here in the United States and not leave her with the financial debt when she graduated. continue to put our son through high school at a private high school and not have that burden on us financially. Residual income is amazing, guys. And so what you've heard us talk to you about is a company and an industry that has come of age, and a company that is the hero of that industry because they figured out the financial model. We are not an if, come, maybe. We are a sure thing, and we are at the tipping point of a financial opportunity right now. Our company, as Mari said, is about to go from 1 billion to 2 billion. Guys, if we created 300 millionaires, or just shy of, when we went through our product phase, when we built through people of an accidental entrepreneur, what I mean by that is that we brought in a lot of women. It was mostly women that came in because they wanted to get home. They had a bigger reason. They wanted to get home and supplement their income. They didn't want to go back to work after they had their babies, or when they raised their children, they didn't want to have to go back into the workforce if they were stay-at-home moms, or it was just too much to manage it all, right? And so they wanted to have a side hustle on the side so they have the extra income for their kids, extra things that they needed. But they didn't never start it as a career, and all of a sudden they started making all this money. You guys, the wellness industry is one of the trends. So you have the coming of age of an industry, and our company being the heroes of that industry. You have the U economy. You have the technology industry driving and fueling that U economy. And then you have the wellness revolution. The wellness revolution is here to stay. It is going nowhere but in vertical growth. And again, if I spoke to in the beginning, you never want to be in an industry that is not in growth. I mean, you have to drag it along the way, and you want a product that is emotional and consumable, has a result attached to it. Our products are amazing. And if we have Joe Ames, if you're able to get on still, Joe, I'd love to have him share. He's at the UCLA. Are you with us, Joe? I'm not sure if he had to drop off or not. But Joe is actually an amazing athlete himself. He won CrossFit 2015, the games, mind you. He is a top vice president of a national brand, and he just recently walked away from it for the purpose of being able to build this company, participate in this wave. And one of the reasons why I say that, because most people build it alongside what they currently do. You have to have a business that doesn't require you to sell your companies like my husband did to do this. He was in a position to do that because I had already built the first wave in what we had been able to accomplish. And so be able to bring on people now, the men are coming, the professionals are coming, the people who now can look at this and say, this is a sure thing. I can find 6 to 8 to 10 hours a week of my time to build alongside what I was currently doing. Joe had decided, you know what? He was putting in 70, 80 hours a week already building his career. He actually didn't have an extra 6 to 8 hours a week to do this unless he wanted to just actually not sleep at all. And he made a decision because the industry was changing. That's what I actually wanted him to speak into, but it looks like we might have lost him. It still says he's with us, but he doesn't have himself unmuted, so I'll try it. Joe, are you there?
Yes, Susan.
Oh, we just don't see you. Do you mind sharing everything I was just leading up to? But I know you talked about the storm clouds coming, and just, loan your own credibility and validation to why you're involved.
No, I mean, I think this, real simply, I wouldn't be in this if it wasn't for you, Susan. I mean, I've been interviewing this company since the day you started, watching you, and that's what you guys always say is people are watching us now that we're in it. I watched you, and, thanks for pushing me back in 2014 when I started saying I need to be taking more supplements, and you said try Isagenix, and I did. That started the ball rolling, and that's when we started using the products as a family every single month, and our network began to grow, even though we were sharing very casually. And to be quite honest, I didn't have the guts to take a leap of faith with you right out of the gates. I was making a real salary, a real income, and to walk away from that would be probably not the smartest thing in the world, I guess, because I didn't know what this company could be. But I kept watching, and I needed a plan B or an exit strategy. And the way things were shaping up in my industry is that it was more likely to be a plan B than an exit strategy, because for me to have an exit strategy would have been another 10 years, and I don't think my position would have lasted that long. So I wanted to put myself in a position of power and strength, and you talk about validating the wellness industry. I looked at it and I said, okay, We got between weight loss, nutrition, and supplements, it's a $500 billion industry. The industry I just came from was a $45 billion industry, so it's a tenth of the size. And that industry that I came from is going backwards, and the nutrition industry is only going forward. This company, Isagenix, is only doing $1 billion. It's like you've always said, they have the answers to the test. They got it all right. And the compensation plan, when I drill into it, and I did deeply to see, where the flaws were, you just can't believe how good it is. I mean, I wrote compensation plans for the past 20 years, and I was always balancing between, what the ownership wanted and what was going to keep my sales reps motivated. And it was never good enough for the sales guys, and it was never good enough for ownership. So I was in a losing battle, but we did it year after year. And then I look at this thing and I'm like, oh my God, if you have someone out there that has a burning desire to be good, if they're coachable and they're willing to work, the sky's the limit. You can make as much money in this industry as you want. I think everyone has to manage their expectations, though. It's like starting any business. It's going to take you 3 to 5 years to get to the point where you could potentially walk away from your job. I did it because I've been fortunate in my career that I've made enough money and put enough money away that, I can't fully retire. But at the same time, I don't want to have to worry about money going forward. And if I had stayed where I was, that road was getting shorter and shorter. And I was going to be in that position where, what do I do now at age 58, 59? We are almost too old to get hired someplace. So this to me looked like the perfect opportunity. And I say it all the time. I like the ownership that's there now, but I like the next wave that's coming in with Eric Hoover. He's, mid to late 30s. He's got a great background in this industry. His wife has an unbelievable background in this industry. They support the field. If things stay status quo for the next 15, 20 years, this is going to be one hell of a ride. So that's how I'm validating it, Susan. I mean, the product, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't passionate about it. And the business opportunity is over the top.
And one of the things that I just want you to speak into, because you spoke so eloquently about it the other day when we were talking, is that, the industry is changing so dramatically, the retail industry, and what's taking place and how many people are being displaced and how that is opening up. In so many industries, you talked about the storm clouds coming. Could you just speak into that for a minute?
Yeah, all you got to do is read the papers. Amazon is one. I know maybe it's not, fully evident yet, but, they are. They're the Apple of retail, No one ever thought Sports Authority was going to close. No one ever thought Toys R Us was going to close. Where we buy our supplements today at GNC, I'd be surprised if GNC makes it the year without filing for bankruptcy. So, it's only the beginning. I think it was, I'm gonna misquote this a little bit, but I think it was 9,000 retail locations closed in the year 2017. They're expecting more in 2018. They're not coming back, guys. They're going to become, malls are going to be totally different 10 years from now than what they look like today. So, like I said, the people that are much younger than me that are in that business, they're sitting ducks. They're sitting ducks.
So true, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that brings me right to what I wanted to speak about. And he's on a college campus with his son right now. So talking about your retirement, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He already has one in college already. One just graduated from college. So yeah, you need this, buddy.
Like I said, you got to have a burning desire.
Right.
I have one.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Good luck, Jack.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, guys, this brings me right to where I wanted to wrap this up for you, because we went a little bit long, but you know what? We had some really great shares, and I think it's really important that you understand who we are. We're just people. We're people like you. People ask me all the time, who are these people? They're our family. They're our friends. They're our coworkers. They're our acquaintances. There are children, right? They're people that just want more, and they're people that are willing to be open. And it's the right time in your life. And I understand if it's not the right time in your life, all I would say to you is sign up anyways. Get these products in your body, because Joe signed up, 6 years ago? I started 6 years ago. I introduced this to about 200 people. Him and his wife, Diane, were like, I don't know, maybe the first 10, 20 people. He asked me, he goes, Susan, can I just say no to the opportunity? And I said, you know what, Joe? Yes, of course you can. Just sign in because you are going to wish you had. And put the products in your body because they will make a difference. And guys, he went to the CrossFit Games and won using Isagenix products. I'm not saying that's the only reason why he got there, but we'll take some credit, I guess, if we can. The thing is, all right, is I've signed up 200 people today. I have 100,000, just shy of 100,000 people in my network. I don't know who those people are. But guess what? We are doing 500,000 a week in personal consumption, not sales. The difference is nobody is schlepping products to somebody's house and putting up a display. And on my team, you don't see it. Maybe a few people might do it, but in general, we don't do that because we understand the difference of being the person who's flipping the hamburgers or owning the franchise or being the franchisor. What we do is we build networks of consumers who have a vested interest in being with these products for life. Company, products, trends, time, and compensation plan, that all matters. But understanding the industry that you're in matters most if you're going to build it. And what we do is we are the builders and the consumers. We are one and the same. So each one of us have maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 customers, not 200, 300, 400. That's a business. I have to manage all those people. I might as well own my own cosmetic company again. I want to be leveraged. I want to receive 1% of 100 people's efforts or 100,000 people's efforts than 100% of my own. I consume the products. My children consume the products. My family consume the product. And then we have networks of people who duplicate that. One person, one family at a time. Guys, the convergence of these trends are dramatically impacting this financial opportunity right here, right now. You are hearing about this before the whole world knows about it. This is a once in a generational opportunity. I mean that with all my heart. I have never been more excited than I am today. I have been waiting 6 years for the company to hit this moment right here, right now. And I want to leave you with this, okay? We've sat here and we have watched different market disruptors completely change the way in which we live today. Think about it. When Murray and I built our first company, we never even had the internet. Three-way calling wasn't even a possibility. You had to sit down and meet with people person to person, okay? Just like what we're doing right here, right now is just off the charts insane. That I can build my business in my pajamas half the time if I want to. In every country around the world. We are currently in 19 countries. We will be in 80 countries plus before we're said and done. Is there a financial opportunity? You better believe there is. And what country is the melting pot of the world? Right here in the good old USA and North America. If you want to build internationally, build here first and let it springboard right around the world in a seamless compensation plan where they handle it for you. Apple disrupted the way in which we communicate. We all respect and understand that. Amazon disrupted the way in which we shop, right? They're killing the stores. They're changing the entire environment of retail. That's something new that wasn't around 15 some odd years ago. Never even heard of it. Google disrupted the way in which we gain information. Do you agree? Guys, I'm here to tell you that Isagenix is disrupting the way in which we earn an income. They are the it company. They are the heroes of this industry, and they simply got it right. I'll leave you with their vision statement, and that is to impact world health and free people from physical and financial pain, and in the process become the largest health and wellness company in the world. And we get to have a small piece of that very big pie. And guess what? It's also willable. That means it's an asset. We're not just building or selling products, guys. We're just building a team. We are building an asset that we can will to our children and our grandchildren. With that, I want to say thank you for taking the time with us tonight to share with you something that we are extremely excited about, and we invite you to join us. Have a great night, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing and being on. Love you all.